Brent Daniels.
I'm Jamil Damji.
And I'm Jerry Norton.
And I'm Pace Morby.
Every week we bring you the best information on real estate investing.
Be sure to participate in the comments.
And subscribe.
Wholesale Hotline!
What up, everybody? Welcome to Wholesale Hotline. We are episode 288. And yes, we are live today. We've got Jerry Norton from Knoxville, Tennessee out there. He just killed the turkey this week and cooked it up. So I want to ask him about that. We've got Jamil Damji. It looks like he's in either LA or Canada. Where are you at?
Phoenix.
Oh, he's in Phoenix this week. Okay, great. I get to hang out with him this week.
I'm hanging with you all week, doggy dog.
Amazing. He's hanging out with me today. Guys, we are here from Wholesale Hotline. We have been here for over 5+ years. Very rarely do we miss a Monday Wholesale Hotline. Now, every once in a while, if it lands on Christmas or New Year's, we'll end up missing it, but it's pretty rare. What an interesting couple of weeks it's been. I missed last week. The Charlie Kirk thing happened, and the whole entire country is up in arms over it. Totally get and understand why. We have a lot of divisiveness in this country. We got a lot of left and right belief systems, but there's one place you can always come where we are the same political class, and that is entrepreneurs all in the same place. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. We are here to love on you and give you entrepreneur language that will help you make money. Today, we're going to be talking about wholesale real estate, fixing and flipping, whatever it is you guys have in the comments. Please let us know what your questions are down below. And as we see your guys' comments, we will pop them up on the screen and we will answer them live. So whatever questions you have, please let us know. Jerry and Jamil, anything new and interesting happening in your world right now?
I'm wondering if Jamil's got a new studio. Is that a new studio, Jamil?
It's this is my house in Tempe. I'm wearing black and I'm on black, so I look like I'm a floating head right now, don't I? Kind of. It's a little strange.
Kind of do.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that that's the effect it would have. No, I'm in my studio here in Tempe, Arizona. It's still a work in progress, but enjoying it. It's tough living out of a suit. Actually, I'm not so much in a suitcase. I moved in now to all of my 3 residences, which is a strange thing to say, man. I'm 46 years old. What am I doing? But I've got a daughter in Canada, a girlfriend in Los Angeles, and a business in Phoenix. And so I've got to do the things, you know?
Wow.
Jerry, what do you have going on? I know you just killed a turkey.
Yeah, we just, Pace is coming for Thanksgiving and we don't want to blow it. So we did a practice run with yesterday cooking a turkey from the farm.
How did you kill the turkey?
Well, so we shot it. Point blank. This is a funny story. Do you want to hear my turkey story?
Please. Yes. You can't leave us hanging now.
Okay. So I get these turkey chicks, and I didn't realize that 3 of the turkeys, I think I got 5 or 6 turkeys, 3 of them were meat turkeys. So they're bred to grow really fast. They only live like 4 or 5 months, and then you're supposed to slaughter them. And if you don't, then they'll just basically live about 6 months and then have a heart attack and die. I did not know this. Wow. So I had 3 of these and I didn't realize that's what kind of turkeys I had. And so one dies and these turkeys free range. So it was out in the pasture and the pigs got it, because pigs will eat anything. So we thought maybe the pigs attacked it. So we're kind of trying to figure this out. Second turkey, same thing happens like about a week later. And then I'm meeting with one of my contractors at the property and telling them about what's happening. And I got one left of this type of turkey. It's a white-breasted turkey. And he says, "Is that the turkey you're talking about, like that breed?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's it right there." And he's like, "You dummy. That turkey's like ready to – you got to butcher that turkey. He's at the end right now. He's full grown. He's like arthritic, and all he's doing is like eating, and he's about to – so I'm like, okay. So then we ended up butchering that turkey, and that's the turkey we cooked up and had last night.
That poor freaking turkey.
Did you name that turkey?
Well, yeah, Thanksgiving. So he was early Thanksgiving. We should have named him like
I thought we have what's the Thanksgiving turkey name? Isn't it like Gravy V or something like that?
Drumstick, yeah, Gravy V, yeah.
Drumstick,
yeah, so I went out and got another turkey that'll be ready for Thanksgiving when you guys come.
Okay, I love it. Guys, we just what Jerry's talking about is we are going to be on a nationwide tour, Jamil and I. Go to creativenationtour.com to find out where we're going to be. 109 cities in 122 days. It is absolute lunacy. I had Hilton, the CEO and founder of Monster, on the phone with me today, talking about the bus and him sponsoring certain things on the tour. Yes, we have Monster sponsoring us and a bunch of other people so that we can go out and do free meetups for you guys and not charge $1. The only thing we will be charging for is taco trucks and food trucks and stuff like that, so you guys can have dinner at the meetup. So a couple of really good questions that have already popped up, some about taxes that I'd love to get to. Randy says, odd question, but I personally like to stay underground about what I do. How would you recommend cold calling in your backyard? I think this is a good Jerry question. Jerry, what answer do you have? I
guess I'm trying to follow that. What do you mean stay underground?
He doesn't want people to know. Like, I imagine he's like, well, I don't, if I cold call and I say my name, then people will know who I am around town.
I think he wants to work. When he says cold call from his backyard, I don't think he means physically in his backyard. I think he means just in his town, right? So he wants to work in his town, but he doesn't want people to know that this is what he's doing. Maybe because he feels like he'll become a target for regulators, or it could be potential just not wanting to let people know the business model. I'm curious as to why Randy doesn't want people to know. Randy, if you wouldn't mind just explaining that. No judgments here, just curious as to the reason for it. But I don't know if you guys remember. I can speak to this, Pace, because you remember back in the day when I was first coming up in Phoenix. I was very much like this. I had the same mentality as Randy. I didn't want to be known because I was doing that on purpose. I was telling agents not to talk about me so that they would talk about me. I was trying to get people to talk about me by telling them I wanted to stay under, just shh, don't ever tell anybody my name. And you tell somebody not to do something, the first thing they do is do it, right? And so it was the fastest way that I actually spread my name around town as the go-to guy, and it worked. But what I can say is what you need to do is have a reason, have a real reason, right? My reason was obviously not good enough for these people because they wanted to talk to others, but say why you're not interested. Is it tax purposes? Are you trading in a trust? But one of the other things I would do is I would set it up in a trust. I would do business in an entity that can't be traced. What are your thoughts on that, Pace? Because I know, corporate structure is something that you've nerded out on in the past. Is it possible for Randy to be able to create a trust and wholesale out of that trust so that he's, for whatever intents and purposes, undetectable?
Yes, there are ways to do that, and it's very simple, easy, and actually cost effective. However, if I take a note out of Jamil and Jerry's books, these guys do a lot of deals with repeat agents that bring them deals over and over and over. And I feel like I don't want to sell one hamburger to a passerby. I want to sell all the hamburgers that they'll ever eat in the future. Like, I want repeat customers. And so I feel like you really want people to know who you are. And if you're doing wholesale the right way, you're not doing anything illegal. And so I don't feel like you have anything to hide. So I think you should fix that mindset a little bit. And let's jump on to the next question. Hey guys, how do I capitalize on my inbound leads? Would you recommend novations, pros and cons? Okay, so let me jump on this one real quick because I want to jump to another question that I think is a longer answer after this. You want to make sure you make a list of all the things you can do with every lead that comes into you. So obviously you're going to do a cash offer. You're going to do a potential listing. And if you're not a listing agent, you would refer it out to a listing agent, because every time I talk to a seller, I will ask the seller, why haven't you sold through an agent? And they'll say, I don't want to go through an agent. I know I don't want to go through an agent. Perfect. But if they say, I'm about to call an agent after I call you, I want to make sure they call my agent that gives me a kickback or a marketing expense reimbursement or whatever. That's number two. Number 3 is I'm going to do a creative offer. Okay. So could be Subto, could be seller finance, could be a novation agreement is creative finance. I prefer not to do novation agreements. I'd rather do what's called an executory contract. I would look that up on my YouTube channel, executory contract, and that will give you a good answer. Okay, here we go. This is for my brother Jamil and Jerry. Jerry just got back. Okay, Jerry just got back from Puerto Rico. And so he's got different tax problems this year than he did last year. So let's answer this question. HBI Home Solutions, as the year is coming to a close, can you guys talk about some tax strategies to save on taxes aside from buying and bonus depreciating rentals? Okay. Sadly, I think that so many people get this wrong when they own their own business. Everything in my life is a business expense. Everything. Okay. Why? Because my family is part of my content. My wife drives a car that's on my YouTube channel. My kids wear clothes that are on my YouTube channel and is in my content that goes on my landing pages. Every single thing in my life is a prop, essentially, or an expense because I have a brand. And all of you should have your own brand. You'll never do it. You'll say you'll do it. You'll never do it. But that is the right answer. The right answer is literally every expense in your life. Literally every expense in your life. Your family is a sitcom or your family is a show. And Jerry, same thing. He has his family on his farm and he showcases that online. Now, we don't do that because it's an expense. We do that naturally because we want our lives to be shown out there. We want people that are also family oriented to find us. And so when I show my family online, more family oriented people show up. I want you to understand that's why I do the content. But then magically my tax advisor is like, you know that literally everything in your life is an expense. And I'm like, not everything. He's like, everything, like even your Costco bill. I'm like, why? And he goes, is your wife part of your corporate structure? Yes. Do you and your wife talk about business at the dinner table sometimes? I go, yeah, all the time. He's like, then your groceries are an expense. That's a business expense. I'm like, you're lying. He's like, no, your nice watch, your camera, your computers, your laptop, literally everything in my life is an expense. So everything I spend money on is a deductible expense, 100%. My cell phone bill, my insurance payment, every single thing is a deduction, everything. And if you don't have a great CPA and you don't have by the way, a CPA and a tax advisor are two completely different things. So I would advise you get a tax advisor because if you're like, I don't want to buy real estate, you could buy businesses and you could depreciate the assets inside of that business. That's another strategy. And there's all sorts of crap that I would never do. Some people do this really crazy strategy because they don't want to own real estate. I don't know what it is, but what they'll do is they'll go and buy land that is in like West Texas that has perceived oil reserves underneath it. So it gives the land a much higher perceived value. They then get an appraisal on those oil reserves, and then they gift the land to a nonprofit. Now that expense, let's say it's $100,000 expense to buy that land. There's, let's say, $1 million of oil reserves underneath the ground. They donate that $100,000 and they get $1 million tax write-off. That's really smart. But guess what I don't like? I don't like spending $100,000 to get $1 million that I'll never get a return on that investment. I'd rather spend $100,000 on something that gives me $1 million tax benefit that stays in my portfolio and grows over time. That's why we buy real estate. Do you guys have anything I haven't said in terms of tax benefits?
No, we do. Now that we're on the farm, we have a farm LLC, and the farm generates revenue because we sell stuff, right? We breed and sell animals, but my farm generates a lot of expenses, and we write off everything on the farm, including the entire education of our kids. We homeschool, but we have a lot of tutors and a lot of specialty things we do with the kids. And all of that, because they're learning on the farm how to run the farm, and the farm is part of their curriculum. And so everything to do with the animals and everything else is all part of that educational process. So yeah, pretty much back to what you said, Pace. You know, we find ways to legally write off literally everything under the sun.
Awesome.
Jamil, what about you?
The Turo strategy has still been working really well outside of, you know, the luxury Rolls Royce that I ended up getting rid of. The other rentals all more than 3x their payment. And so just really quickly, guys, what we do, I buy a vehicle that's over 6,000 pounds. Make sure that it is a gross weight over 6,000 pounds. And then I put those into a Turo fleet. And I have my ex-wife running that Turo fleet, and it cash flows. Typically, if my payment on a vehicle $700 or $800 a month, I'm usually bringing in somewhere around $2,400. So it's got great cash flow. I get to write off about 40% of the price of the vehicle, and it's making me money all the while. Now, as soon as that recapture timeline is finished, I will then go and sell that vehicle, and I'll get money back for it. So here's what I'm doing. I'm getting a tax break right out the gate. I'm getting cash flow from that tax break. And then once my recapture period is over, I get another. I like Pace's word when he calls it the after party. I get an after party because I get to sell that car then for whatever it's worth at that point, and I get the third check. So for me, it's the most profitable way to do this. The only problem is I look like I'm a car hoarder. I have nowhere to put these stupid things now, and so parking these things have become pretty problematic. And so I'm probably going to have to invest in a warehouse or some type of facility to store the vehicles, and that will end up becoming a business expense as well. Now, what I'll likely do is I'll probably get a commercial warehouse that I can then get a cost segregation study on, and then also be able to write that off. So I'm turning the Turo business into my tax strategy right now, and it's been working really well.
Yeah, it's interesting to me when somebody says, besides buying real estate and getting tax depreciation, what are other ways to get tax benefits? There is no better way than buying real estate and holding it. There's simply no better way. And just to give you kind of the math on it, I'll give you the math on how great this is, okay? If you're buying stuff with creative finance, okay? I bought an RV park. Here, I'll walk you through an actual RV park and what I got out of it. By the way, I got my first piece of land under contract today to build my first car wash.
Hell yeah, dog.
In Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to be building a car wash right here in our backyard. It's going to be great.
Wow.
Yeah, my goal is to build 500 of them. And anyway, a lot of good stuff coming up. So Glacier Peaks, okay? This park, I brought it up a whole bunch. And it's because it's kind of fresher in my portfolio. This park I bought for $5 million, okay? This park, not only did I buy it for no money out of pocket, I bought it with no credit check, and I bought it with no bank. How did I do that? I know we have a lot of newer people here today, so I imagine you guys appreciate all this information. But this park, I'll bring up the P&L for this park, but this P&L or this park, yeah, look at this. This is the problem. So many people buy single family rentals and they get really, really tired. Okay, so think about this. This one park, I will pull up the financials here in a minute. I bought it for $5 million. I put zero of my own money into it, and it net cash flows $25,000 a month roughly net in my pocket. When I say net, I mean free cash flow after all expenses, private money lenders, etc. What I did with the first years of cash flow is I paid back my private money lender. So let me explain that. When I bought it for $5 million, the seller, his name is Eric, he comes along and goes, all right, this is Eric. He says, I want $250,000 down payment for my $5 million RV park. And I said, no problem, I got you. So I went out and I borrowed $250,000 and gave that to Eric. I borrowed it from a private money lender. If you guys want that private money lender list, type PML in the side chat and I'll throw it in the side chat here at the end of the show. So I give him $250,000 of somebody else's money at 12% interest. So I'm paying $2,500 a month on the money I borrowed to pay Eric's down payment, $2,500. But if the park is netting $25,000 a month, do you think I really care about the $2,500? No. So what I did with the first year's cash flow, okay, is I took all that cash flow and I accumulated it in my bank account. Let me actually show you guys the bank account. And you guys need to understand this business is real, my friends. It's so real. It's so tasty. You need to actually understand. I'm going to pull up my actual bank account here and show you guys the amount of money we're just about to pay off all the private money lenders from this property. I just sent out my first $25,000 check the other day. Let's see, where is it? Okay, here it is. So I sent out my first $25,000 the other day. And this is what's left in the bank account. Okay, I paid off one private money lender at 25 grand just the other day. And this is what's left over. This is all the cash I have sitting there waiting to pay off the private money lenders. So this is the actual cash that this thing has generated in 1 year in profit.
Nice.
So that profit, instead of me taking that income and me taking that home, I go, you know what? Perfect. Now I can pay my down payment back to the private money lender. So I have no money into the deal from day one. I take all the first year's distributions and I pay off the private money lenders. And now I can start taking $25,000 a month. That's not the cool part about this. Okay. That's not the cool part about this. The cool part about it is that this property gave me a $3 million tax write-off. $3 million in year one. $3 million in year one. For most people, that's like literally 8 years of income. You could buy one RV park in every 6 to 8 years and never pay federal income taxes ever, like literally zero. One park every 6 years, and you would pay zero federal income taxes for the rest of your life. And more importantly, you can own them with no money out of your pocket, no bank. The private money lender would be paid back from the distributions. I've got another park I just bought 5 years ago. Let me show, or not 5 years ago, 5 months ago, if you guys don't mind. This park is freaking killing it. I just went there on Friday. First time I've been there. And I think a lot of people will go, okay, well, who's like managing these parks? The girl that manages this park, her name is Madison. Right here, West Texas Friendly RV Park. I own this right here. And then I own this dirt right next to it that I'm going to expand into. This park, how many spaces do you see are open in this park?
None.
There's one space right here that's open, and it's currently rented.
You got one in that corner too.
Here's the answer, guys.
Top right corner. Top right corner. There's missing one.
Right. So here is the answer. These spots are all rented out by an oil field company with 5-year leases on every single spot.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I have only 5 spots in this whole park that even get switched out. The other ones are all long-term tenants look at all the oil field around here. See all the oil? So these guys are out working out in the oil fields, and they come home and they sleep in my RV park. Okay. This park and the other one north of it, it's just at the north side of town up here, somewhere up in this area. Those 2 parks were purchased the same way. With creative finance, no money out of my pocket. Those things produce, the first one, the one I just showed you, nets 18 grand a month. The other one nets 12,000 a month. So just in that little town, I net 30 grand a month on just 2 parks. But those parks combined are $6 million of tax write-offs that I will get. So for me, actually lease to own does give you depreciation. Just so you guys know, I taught this in our Subto community. Lease to own does give you tax depreciation. It absolutely does. I pulled an IRS auditor away from the IRS a couple of years ago, and we had them write a plan for the IRS. We do get tax depreciation on lease options, which is awesome. Just FYI.
Would you get the same kind of, sorry to interrupt you. I'm just curious. would you get the same kind of depreciation on an agreement for sale versus a lease option? So same type of scenario there, or is it different?
No. So if you are acquiring the property and you are holding that property in your portfolio, whether you have it on a lease option, agreement for sale, contract for deed, bond for deed, whatever, you have equitable title over that property. As Jamil and Jerry know this very, very well, I have equitable title. And there are statutes in the IRS that allow you to take depreciation on things that you have equitable title on, which is amazing. Then if I sell it on a lease option, guess what? I can keep my depreciation because I still hold equitable title, even though those people. Now, where you'll run into an issue, this is very over most people's head, is if your buyer decides that they're buying it on a lease option. If they decide they're going to take the depreciation, you should not be taking the depreciation. Also, it's going to cause an issue. How to get the lease option if you're in Subto, you already know how to do the lease option stuff. I don't teach that stuff outside on YouTube, just FYI. Now, something that's really cool, Jerry and Jamil, I want to give you guys this awesome gift. I'm going to do a Zoom with a gentleman named Julio who wrote the big, beautiful tax bill in about 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. He is the largest grant writer in the country. He writes more grants than anybody else. And he also has figured out how to remove tax depreciation recapture. So if I buy a property and I resell it, how do I avoid the recapture when I resell it? And how do I avoid having to do a 1031? He's going to come into our community and do a live Zoom. So Jamil, I'll send you the link. Jerry, I'll send you the link. You can invite your people, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Nathaniel wants to talk about the OKC regulations. Seems to me, if you have the disclosure, you can do it. Jerry, give us an update on what's going on with OKC.
Okay, so this is Bill 1075. It passed and is effective November 1 of this year. So this is coming up for everybody. And Oklahoma already had regulation in place. So they basically updated and kind of tightened up their definitions and added some other things. So they've really clarified here, like what they're considering wholesaling. And it's really, they focus on equitable interest. So if you're selling equitable interest in any way before taking legal ownership, you know, that falls under their definition of wholesaling. And so that would include, you know, simultaneous double closings, right? So that's now included, and they clarified that. So what do you have to do now? Well, you have to have some disclosure. You have to disclose to the seller that your intent is to wholesale for a higher price. The seller has to know that they have the right to legal counsel, and the seller can cancel the contract without penalty within 2 days. So at least this one's not real bad. You know, they don't have 30 days or indefinitely like some of the other ones. They have 2 days where they can cancel a contract, and you have to give them that documentation. So it has to be in writing, you know, with certain font and everything, that they have that right to cancel. So, you know, yeah, it's more about proper disclosure than anything else. But keep in mind that the previous law in there around licensing still applies too. So they really want you to be licensed there for doing wholesaling. So
licensed in addition to the disclosure is what's required. So this was like it basically capped off their entire regulatory process now, and this is the package that they've delivered to the people. So they want you to be licensed. They want you to have lots of disclosures. They want the seller to have an opportunity to back out of the deal within 48 hours of execution.
And I forgot to mention, and no memos. You're not allowed to
no
put
memorandums.
Yeah, you can't put any kind of.
I'm in agreement with them. I think memorandums are I don't use them. I think that they've been abused, and I wouldn't mind seeing them fall out the wayside at some point here in the future, just because of how they've been abused by people that are not of integrity, you know. And so that I don't take issue with that. But you know, the guys, what Jerry is saying is happening in Oklahoma City. Expect this everywhere. Yeah. Expect this everywhere. This is not going to be just Oklahoma. This is going to be a U.S.-wide process in the next 48 months, in the next 24 months. This is going to be popping off in every single state. So your job is to understand how to raise capital, how to close on these deals, how to become an investor that has the money and the capacity to do business, close and resell, make relationships with private money lenders. Pace just give you an entire list of private money lenders in the chat. I mean, that right there is going to give you a huge opening to be able to go in and start your business in a more sophisticated manner. And so I think it's really important that people start preparing for that. Level up.
Yeah, I've been telling people that if you're a one-trick pony doing the assignment, you are one policy away from being out of business. And if you don't think, and if you don't think regulation's coming, there's either a bill in place or they're writing one right now in your state. Like, it's coming.
Yeah, and I actually agree with it. I think we all three agree with it. And younger wholesalers will hate us for saying this. I think that we got very lucky. Jerry, Jamil, Brent, and myself got very lucky. There was no regulation in wholesale for all these years. Since I started in 2012, 2013, no regulation since Jamil started in 2002, 2006, like in that area. But why is it being regulated? I need you guys to understand this. And Jerry talks about this a lot. So does Jamil. It should be regulated because I'm on a call this morning. Do you guys know the School of Hard Knocks? The guy that like walks up to people on the street and is like, hey, how much money do you make? And what's the most amount of money you made in 1 year? Really great content. I'm really good friends with those kids. James is awesome. He's the owner of School of Hard Knocks, and he has me come in and talk to his school group. I don't know, every 2 to 3 months. And today he had 900 kids on this call, and there was a bunch of them were wholesaling. And I'm like, all right, so James doesn't do wholesale. Where are you guys learning wholesale from? And their answer was, well, we're learning from ChatGPT. Okay. And where else? And they're like, YouTube. I'm like, okay, so has YouTube ever done a wholesale deal? No. Has ChatGPT ever done a wholesale deal? No. Okay. So you're not learning from anybody that knows what they're doing. And the guy's question, the first wholesale question that came up is like, Pace, I've been locking up contracts left and right. Like, I can lock up a contract almost every time I call a seller, but then I have to cancel the contract every time I get a house under contract. I can't find buyers.
Well, anybody can over contract.
Right. So easy. Jamil, what is the problem? Is he unable to find buyers, or is he doing something else wrong?
Yeah, he's not valuing the property right. He's not putting a deal under contract. He's putting an address under contract. And there's a complete difference between what is an opportunity versus what is not an opportunity. And here's the reality, that the more that happens, the more sellers that get canceled on, even though it's totally within our rights to cancel during a due diligence period, there's nothing wrong with that. But the more that this happens, the harder and harder and harder it's going to be. Bro has just said he was on a call with 900 people getting their information from ChatGPT, man. Like, how is this going to end? This doesn't end well.
It ends with the local governments being pissed off from all the phone calls they get from sellers. And it ends with regulation that we all welcome. And here's why we welcome it. I don't care if it's the real estate commissioner. I don't care if it's the attorney general. I don't care if it's other real estate agents or brokerages saying we're not going to do deals with wholesalers. I don't care who it is. I agree with them because I've had to handle so many calls where wholesalers lock up sellers in bad deals, and then I'm the one, or Jerry's the one, or Jamil's the one that actually have to come in and save these people from bad situations. I think regulation is needed in all 50 states, whether it's licensing or requiring the investor to close on the deal and actually be the buyer. Like, I have no problem with that. I think that there are some unplanned repercussions that are going to come back on the seller. And that is that the sellers are going to get lower prices from investors like us because we have now more closing costs, more finance costs. Wholesalers are going to have to become resellers. That's basically, wholesaling is going to be called reselling. Okay. Somebody's going to rename it, recoin it. It's going to be like, hey, I got this new thing. It's called reselling. Wholesaling is 2024. Reselling is the strategy. In fact, hold on, let me get that trademark real fast. It's going to be called reselling, where wholesalers are going to be required to close and then resell. Now, I really like Boudin 671. His comment says, but Jerry, everyone says to stick to one strategy. No. You're either Elon Musk or you are you're a starter outer. Okay. What I mean by that is this. Elon Musk juggles how many things, and what strategies does he stick to?
I mean, he's
thousands of things, right? He can do it all.
Yeah.
People like Jerry and people like Jamil. Jerry owns hotels. Jerry builds massive mansions. Jerry wholesales houses with literally severed heads inside the refrigerator. He will do any strategy that he can make money on because he's an Elon Musk. He's scaled beyond the one strategy constraint. Same thing with Jamil. Jamil has multiple franchises. Jamil does tons of co-living. Jamil will wholesale some deals here and there. Jamil will fix and flip because Jamil has scaled past the one deal conundrum or pipeline. Same thing with me. I'm building car washes, buying RV parks, buying multifamily. I'm doing everything I can with creative finance because I've scaled past I have never done a deal before. So when somebody tells you to stick to one strategy, it's because you've never done a deal before and you're floundering all over the place and they don't know what else to tell you. That's the true honest answer. They're like, my goodness, Betsy, just stick to one thing.
And so here's kind of how I look at it too, Pace. In the beginning, you got to learn something. You need to go deep on it. You need to become proficient at something. And so I think maybe in the beginning, focusing on getting good at something, a handyman's not very good at a lot of things, not really good at one thing, right? And so you sort of want to hone in a skill and learn something, but that's never the end game. Like if all you are is good at one thing, you're really limited on your development. I think about like marriage. Why do you get married? You get married because you marry the opposite of you, and that other person pressures you to develop areas that aren't natural for you, that are outside of your normal, to pressure you to grow and become a more developed person, right? A more well-rounded person. Otherwise, you would stay exactly the way you are and you would be really good at the one thing or the one way of being, and you wouldn't learn other things, right? Like real estate's the same way. At the end of the day, eventually, hopefully you're learning commercial. Hopefully you're learning creative finance. Hopefully you're building a portfolio. Maybe you're doing development. Maybe you're doing, like, you want to keep pressuring yourself to grow outside of just one thing. If you do jump in and you're all over the place and you can't really focus on something and you're just spread everywhere, and that could be a problem. If you're doing too many things, you're not good at any of them, and you're just scattered and unorganized and not focused, that could be to your detriment. But learn the thing and then get good at it and then expand into other things.
Can I just unpack a little bit of what he just said there really fast? He said, learn one thing and get good at it. Okay. Now, guys, there is a jewel there, because what is happening in the process of getting good at something? You're failing. You're having hardship. You're learning. You're building resilience. You're building skills. I saw Jerry made a post the other day, and it was I thought it was one of the greatest transparent showcases of his luxury fixing and flipping business that anyone could have given you. The guy lost money on his first deal, broke even on the ones after that. Like, how many times did Jerry come in and take massive risk and take shots on the chin, take a knee? Like, he got hit, and he got hit pretty hard. And it wasn't until he took those hits and he developed and he learned, and then he kept coming back and getting back in the ring and doing it again, that he made his first 7-figure profit. It doesn't come out the gate. It comes after a lot of lessons, right? Mm-hmm. And the same thing is going to happen in the business. You're not going to get great at wholesaling on your first deal. You're not going to get great at creative finance on your first deal. These things take time to refine. But then as you get better and you understand more, and then you become more creative, then all of a sudden you start doing deals the way Pace does, because he now thinks of, well, how could I make this deal even more interesting? Because I'm bored with the regular old, right? So he's looking for more ways to make it interesting for himself, because that's the guy he is. And then you get to do that when you're in that position and you have that kind of skill and time in the game. But for the beginning guys, just, You know, I think it's a matter of refinement. And I think the reason why people tell you to stay to one thing is because you keep building little piles of half or quarter finished things, and then you move on to the next thing. And then you have the idea of like, oh, that didn't work. No, honey, you didn't finish.
Good, really good point.
Well
really strong point. Elaine, she has a good question here too, and I think this is going to be one of those it depends answers. Elaine, she says, my one thing is co-living. Awesome. I think co-living is going to take over the entire country. I think everybody that's doing Airbnb, you might as well bend over, put your head through your legs, and kiss your own ass goodbye. Okay. And what I mean by that is I think 10% of Airbnb operators will be successful. It's going to get worse. The economy is going to get worse. I think the rich are going to continue to get richer. The poor are going to continue to get poorer, and co-living is going to solve a major, major problem in the real estate industry. So I love that for you, Elaine. I think everybody should be owning some. If you're in single family and you love single family, hell, I think even if you're in small multifamily, co-living has a massive play as well.
Or even just affordable housing. You know, anything below the national median is like where you want to be. You know, I flip these great big giants, but honestly, like my next 5-year plan is like 300,000 ARV in sleepy markets, in Midwest markets, you know, stuff because everyone's migrating from the West where it's overpriced and, you know, the coast and stuff. And if you can come to Memphis, Tennessee, or Toledo or Topeka, Kansas, or St. Louis, and you can get a 1,200 square foot house, fully renovated, you know, new roof, new windows, new everything, open floor plan, and you're buying it for $275 or $300. Those things sell in the first day on the market. Like there's so much demand for that type of price point because everyone's getting away from the expensive markets because of affordable housing. So, you know, anything affordable housing is the future.
Yeah, I agree with Jerry. I think it's two things. I think it's ultra luxury and affordable housing. The middle tier is slowly starting to deteriorate.
It's eroding.
I've got 6 of like houses on the market that are in the 500 to 600 range in Maricopa County.
You're gonna sit.
They're sitting. Why? Average price for the home here is $425, and I'm at 5, 6. I've got one at 900, which is like not even luxury yet, just high end mid range. You know what I'm saying? That thing's been sitting for 4 months. And I think rates are going to help out. I think we'll end up breaking even on a house I thought we were going to make 125 grand on, but welcome to real estate. So what Jerry's talking about is 100% right. Anything affordable. Okay. So Elaine says, do I invest in my backyard in Connecticut or maybe Phoenix, Arizona? Okay. For me, I like to tell stories, right? I'm a storyteller. If I'm investing across state lines, I have to jump on a plane to go film at that property to show proof that I'm doing the thing. Why? Because I raise money. I have a fund. People need to know I'm real. And if I'm going and investing across state lines, that it's hard for me to go and take photos and video and go tell stories of the property, it makes my other job challenging, which my other job is raising money. And my other job is building a brand. It's really hard to do that across state lines. So Elaine, if you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like you're doing co-living now, but you want to do a lot of co-living in 3 years. Well, how do you do a lot of co-living is you have to raise money and bring in financial partners to go and expand your portfolio. Well, how are you going to raise money if nobody knows who you are? How are people going to know who you are if you're not telling stories about things you're actively doing? And so for me, it's building a local brand based on local assets. Like today we haven't gotten the car wash under contract. Otherwise I'd give you guys the address. But we've got a piece of land that we're submitting an LOI on. We're talking to the broker. It's a creative deal where we don't have to buy the property until we've built the car wash, which is cool. So they'll subordinate and then they'll let us refinance and pay them out. So basically a novation agreement or an agreement for sale. I call them dating contracts. But I was so excited about it being in Arizona because I can drive there on weekends with my family. I can show my kids what we're up to. I can get my team excited. If we have a team lunch or hell, let's say I'm raising money and people fly in to meet me at the office. I'll say, don't come to the office. Let's go freaking get our car washed at the car wash. So if you're somebody going to build a brand, all day long, you need some assets in your local backyard. Like think about Jerry when he was in Puerto Rico. It's like he could stop by the hotel. He could stop by the property he's at. Now, Jerry has the luxury of being able to bounce around and talk about the properties he's going to. And, same thing with Jamil. All his co-living stuff is here in Phoenix, Arizona, right? He has a team here. Do you think Jamil will ever run out of content to expand his brand? And when you expand your brand, you get more opportunity. So Elaine, if you're not building brand, just invest in my deals and I'll tell the stories for you. If you are building brand, buy in your backyard. Do you guys agree with that?
I think too, like, when I talk about the future of wholesaling and where the industry's heading, I've been doing some content around this lately and really outlining like what are the pitfalls. I really think real estate is going to go back to a very localized, business model, because this is one of the big reasons why I think pace. When ChatGPT replaces Google and someone goes onto ChatGPT and they say wherever she was from, Connecticut, when a seller in that area says, ChatGPT, give me the top 5 cash buyers in this market, ChatGPT is doing SEO to get those results. Who has a presence? Who has a brand? Who's loud? Who's local? Who has Google reviews? Who's showing up? And that brand awareness, we used to get away with not needing that. We could be virtual. We could be anywhere. But I think if you're not building a local brand in real estate, a backyard market, and you can live wherever you want, but hyper focus on a market and become known as what I call it a market expert. Be a market expert. That question in the very beginning about I want to be quiet, that is, in my opinion, that is the worst thing you could possibly do is be quiet. You need to be as loud as possible. You want everybody, title companies, other investors, landlords, flippers, wholesalers, you want everybody to know you're here, you're in town, you're open for business, you're looking for deals, and everybody starts to talk about you and bring you deals, and you're known now. And the referral rollover for that is massive. You're going to have people bringing you deals, bringing you opportunities, wanting to lend you money, all the things. Why? Because you took the time to build a brand in a local market.
How many deals do you get a year, Jerry, just based off of Jerry Norton's name?
I mean, that's my whole business model. Like get loud so that I can get deals, right? People.
Yeah, what do you think? You're probably doing, upwards of 5 to 7, maybe 10 a month, right? From just your brand. Pace, yeah. I'm sure that number is gonna be a lot larger. And the same thing happens with me. Guys, we're getting inbound. I don't have to pay for those deals. Those deals come from the fact that I'm putting out content that's valuable to people. They see that I'm an actual investor doing business. I share addresses so they can go and see what's going on, all of the things, right? So I think these two gentlemen are absolutely correct. You have to be in the business of sharing your business so that you can do more business.
Agree 100%. I always tell people we buy real estate for 6 reasons. Number 1, appreciation. 2, tax benefits. 3, cash flow. 4, mortgage pay down. 5, the leverage that I can refinance and pull the money out tax free. And number 6, which actually should be number 1, is the story. If I can tell you a story about an actual address and a seller and a this and how I solved their problem, 1, you're going to want to do deals with me when you have a problem with a seller. 2, you're going to want to just go, man, that sounds really freaking hard. Do you know how many people just invest with me? They give me their cash. I currently, in my lending business, I have $7 million of other people's money. That means $7 million of people have said, I don't want to do all that work you do. I watch you talk about this stuff. That sounds hard. And the more I talk about how hard these things are and the skills I've acquired along the way, 1, they trust me more to give me the money to lend out. And 2, they go, I don't want to do all of that. Let me just give you the money, right? So that's super helpful when you can express to people real legitimate deals that you're doing. I really like this comment. Valeria Medina, I would love for you to actually click on the link in the side chat if you're still here. Valeria Medina, there's a link in the side chat that says https://StreamYard, blah, blah, blah. That will take you from the live audience to the backstage. I would love to bring you up here and chat with you. I think a lot of people are misunderstanding. You guys think, okay, oh, there she is. Valeria, what up? How you doing?
Hello.
Okay, so Valeria, you have a great comment. You said, man, all this regulation in wholesale, that's got me stressed out. I thought wholesale was going to be a good thing for me. So it's interesting, and why I wanted to bring you up here is I feel like me, Jamil, and Jerry express the regulation of wholesale is not a problem for getting into wholesale. I know that sounds counterproductive or counterintuitive. It actually is an opportunity. So for me, if I was going to start wholesaling a brand new wholesale business, you know where I would go? I would go where people believe that regulation are holding them back the most. Like South Carolina, so many people have stopped wholesaling in South Carolina because they go, oh, I guess I can't wholesale in South Carolina. I would literally just watch Jerry Norton's YouTube channel and go, what's the next state that's being regulated? And that's where I would go to wholesale.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your belief system and my belief system are very different. And the reason why I wanted to bring you on the live is to try and understand where we failed expressing this to you. So let me re-say it to you. And if we get it, if I can get you to understand this, great. If not, please tell us, I still don't understand. So where do you live, Valeria?
Fresno, California.
Okay, Fresno's an awesome place. Great place to also wholesale and fix and flip. I love Fresno. Awesome market. California is a great spot to fix and flip and wholesale. Okay, so first and foremost, there is no regulation in California on wholesale or fix and flip whatsoever. Okay. Mm-hmm. And there probably won't be for a couple of years. I don't think California is like top on the list. Jerry would know way more than me.
Nothing on the books that we know of.
Cool. So you got some time in California if you want to do the old school wholesaling methodology. Like I get a contract, I sell the contract, I do a pure wholesale. But let's say that Valeria, I force you to go to South Carolina, where South Carolina is currently regulated. Is that correct, Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so either A, I can get a real estate license, which I profusely refuse to get a real estate license. Ain't happening. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm an investor. When they come out with a license for real estate investors where I can differentiate myself from those knucklehead agents, I will then get a license. But up until then, I'm not getting a license. That's me, Pace Morby, stating that right now, okay? So if I go to South Carolina, in order for me to dominate and still do wholesale, the only thing I need is access to capital to buy the property for like 2 weeks and then resell it to somebody else. Is that method just so scary to you as a newbie that you're like, there ain't no way I'm going to do that, so I just won't even try? Is that kind of where the mindset is?
Can you repeat that, please, again? Because my internet cut out.
It's okay. Fresno has slow internet. We all know it's so it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all that dry heat up there in Fresno. Okay, so if I go to South Carolina and I decide I want to be a wholesaler, the only thing I need to do different as a wholesaler in these regulated areas is I need to have access to, let's say, Jerry's money, Pace's money, Jamil's money, and they'll bring the money to the table, and I can close and own the property for 2 weeks and then resell it to somebody else that's going to flip it. I'm still doing the same thing. The only difference is I own it for 2 weeks. Is that so scary to you as a newbie that you will stay away from that?
No, actually, no.
Okay.
So it's just like borrowing money.
Yes, but it's borrowing money from people that specifically know that business model. People like Jerry, people like me. It's literally this. You email somebody on my team. I just did one today. Somebody in South Carolina calls us up and says, I have a deal. I want to close on it. I need a loan for 2 weeks. What are they doing? I buy the property. I close on it. Now they go and resell it to a new buyer. It's as simple as that. And they are making just as much money as they always did. They're just lowering their price to the seller, sadly. But that's what's happening. So you email, like my team, you can email us money@pacemorby.com, and I funded a government contract this week for $550,000. I funded a Pizza Hut conversion into Chipotle for $810,000. I funded a wholesale contract in South Carolina for $200,000. I will fund all sorts of crazy things. Money@pacemorby.com. Jerry, do you have a funding arm?
Yeah, we have a link where you can fill out an application, and if it qualifies, we'll fund it 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a link you can put in the side chat?
I'll look it up. Yep.
Okay. So Does this help answer your question that there's literally no way that they'll ever stop people from buying properties and reselling them 2 weeks later?
No. So that's it. That's what everyone has to understand here is, Pace, you're explaining this exactly right. If you buy the property and you're the end buyer and you're not monetizing your equitable interest, which equitable interest would be a novation, a double close, an assignment. Those are all, you're making money without legally owning the property. They want you to legally own the property. Now, that varies in all the different places, but the bottom line is if you want to be geared up to where you can actually thrive in one of these regulation markets, what Pace is saying here is when there's friction, this is the thing that where this is a massive opportunity. Whenever friction is introduced into the industry, and when I say friction, something happens to make it a little bit harder. You got to get a license, or you got to disclose, you got to this, or you got to that. That friction eliminates a lot of people. People are like, oh, it's a little bit hard, I'm out. Okay, bye. Goodbye. All of you people go away. The people that are willing to do the thing, go raise the money, buy the thing, whatever it might be now, they grab all this market share because there's less competition. They get to buy deeper deals. They get to make more per deal. The smartest thing you could do would be to go where it's regulated and open up for business and figure out the thing that you need to do and kill it, because everyone's leaving now. The fly-by-night virtual guys, they're all gone. Everybody is, it's like, oh, it's a little hard now. What are you talking about? You were never going to make it anyway, because if it's hard, if you're out because it's hard, guess what? You're going to hit the hard at some point or another, and you're going to quit then. So thank you for saving all of us the trouble with your over-contracting bad contracts. Now I can come in and actually get a good deal because you're gone now. And that's what's happening.
Yes, that is 100% what's happening. And what's interesting is, Randy, guys, like, this is what's crazy. Even though we can explain it 5 times, the newer people are like, wait, so I close on it first? Yes.
You buy it. You buy it without a predetermined buyer. Here's how it works, guys. You contract it off market, you get the funding, you close on it, you take title in your name with no predetermined buyer. You don't have a buyer. Then you put it back up for sale on the open market, ideally the MLS. It's going to get you maximum exposure. You sell it for the highest price the market will bear. At closing, you're going to pay some commission, some closing fees. You're going to pay off your funding, and you're going to walk away with your profit. It's called buying it and reselling it. Good old-fashioned buy it cheap, sell it for more. That's all this is. And
correct.
We're making 2 to 4 times more than the traditional assignment we call it a takedown deal, but it's just reselling the property, and we're making 2 to 4 times more than if we did a traditional assignment.
Yes, 100%.
Now we got to get funding. We're in the deal a little bit longer. I get that, but yeah, everyone calls it wholetailing. That's the traditional name of it, but that's where the industry's headed. Jamil said it earlier. The future of wholesaling is wholetailing. That's the future.
Yes. And Tammy Sampson, she says, anyone who's run into bad wholesalers is all in for this, including me. I have been running into bad wholesalers for 12 freaking years. And I'm going to be honest with you, there was a time where I felt like, because I was the honest guy in all these real estate transactions, I didn't want to be in the wholesale industry. In fact, there was a couple of guys here in Phoenix, Arizona, that are in trouble with the local law. It took the local law long enough to go after them. But these guys, we like 10 years ago, we were like, when are these guys going to get taken down? These guys are hurting sellers. I'm all for regulation. 1, just because it helps sellers. 2, I'm for regulation because it actually helps people who are trying to get into wholesale for the first time to not have to compete by fly-by-night pieces of crap. They're going to take advantage of people. Herschel Cruz, you came in the side chat, but I don't think you knew you came on the live. What's up, Herschel? How you doing?
I'm so sorry. I just muted my mic. I was like, it says they can see me, but I'm just
we could see you. You came from the live chat. I put the link in to bring you into the studio. The same thing's going on.
Someone that you just click on links, like someone puts a link on the screen, you're like, oh, what's that? I'm going to click on it.
You are a marketer's dream, just so you know. Every marketer loves you because you would click on every link in the side chat.
I was going to try to figure out right now to ask a question. I don't know if I should.
Well, you can ask us a question right now live. Carson Walsh, Valerie Medina, Freddie Ray. Good to see you, Freddie Ray. Love you, brother. Always good to see you, man.
Tell us your name.
Okay, so my name's Rochelle. I'm 22. My cousin, I'm from Houston and I live here.
Where's here?
Also here in Houston. He's the one who introduced me into wholesaling. He said, look into it. he himself right now is flipping homes with like a private equity, private capital, I guess.
Private money lender.
Right, yeah, and that's what he's doing. And long term, that's what I'd like to get into. But he said, look into wholesaling. I found Jerry's account, and I've been like watching all his things and just trying to learn as much as wholesaling. The next step is actually call people. I've been doing some driving for dollars, but I know you can also do like paid leads. How would y'all go, like, I guess best option for like websites or like
I think Jerry, you got this. Go ahead.
I mean, you're just now entering the rabbit hole. You're about to go into a vortex of, a whole new thing. So just, strap on and get ready. But,
Okay.
from a big picture, you got to generate leads, and you got to generate leads every single day. If you're not generating a lot of leads every day and having quality conversations, kiss the whole thing goodbye. Like, if you just could talk to enough distressed sellers every single day, you're doing 5 deals a month, easy. But you got to talk to people every day, and you got to get in front of good leads every day. And there's 3 ways to do leads. You can get free leads, you can get inexpensive or cheap leads, and you can get expensive leads. Obviously, quality goes up the more you pay, because now it's more intent based. It's inbound leads that are coming to you. These are people looking for you that are highly motivated, and they'll take big discounts. They got to close fast. Like, that's the dream, but that's expensive. So usually we work our way up to that, right? So free methods that we like to do are driving for dollars is one. That's doesn't cost you anything other than time and gas money. I really like working with real estate agents. It doesn't cost you anything. You got to make a lot of connections with local agents. The idea there is maybe they got something listed that you can get for a deal, but more than anything, if they can bring you leads off market before they list it, and you can come in, put an offer in front of the seller, and you can get a deal done, that's great. Doesn't cost you anything. And then as you move up the ladder, cheap is like cold calling. You can get a list, skip trace it, call it, or pay someone to call it. That's fairly inexpensive. And eventually you can get into more expensive stuff like Google Ads and things like that, where they're now calling you. But, bottom line is you got to get in front of leads every single day, and you got to have quality conversations every single day. And if you do that consistently, you're doing deals.
Okay. Is there anything that could be seen as friction, like in this area that y'all know, like in the Houston area, Texas as a state?
No, Houston's a freaking amazing market that's growing tremendously. We have between Jamil, Jerry, and I, we probably have 1,000 students that are crushing it there in Houston area. Last time I was in Houston, Jamil and I had an 800-person meetup. The majority of those people are doing a lot of deals. Houston is the top 3 largest metros in the country, and it's growing.
It's in PropWire pace. Houston is the #1 searched market in the software, and Dallas is second. Houston and Dallas are huge.
One of the things I would just pay attention to, and I don't know how much this is resolved yet, but flood properties in Houston still are problematic. So I would just stay away from anything in a flood zone. They're not insurable, and so you're gonna spin your tires because you're reducing your buyer pool when somebody has to come in with full cash. Because they can't get insurance. And if they can't get insurance, they can't get a loan. So in my opinion, if you hear that it's in a flood zone, or you hear that it's flooded, I would just move on to the next lead. Could you monetize that and figure something out? Yes, but will you waste time? You'll waste way more time trying to find a needle in the haystack than you will the other way. That's the best advice I could give you for Houston.
Yeah, I have personal experience on that.
Here's the first thing you have to understand, like more important than anything else you could ever ask. Okay. The first thing you have to have in your possession before you do anything else when you're first starting out is who's your customer, right? Where are you going to get paid? Okay. So for example, okay, Herschel or Herschel, you like to be called Herschel. Okay. Herschel, let's say that Jerry and I tell you, Herschel, that we have a secret sandwich recipe. And it's our bread, it's our meats, it's our cheeses, it's everything. It's the best sandwich on the planet. And we convince you to invest in Jerry and me. So a couple of weeks later, you show up to your $50,000 investment right? We bought the breads, we bought the space, we got the oven, we got all the things going. And we're building a ton of sandwiches. Me and Jerry behind the thing, we got aprons on, and we're just throwing sandwiches down the line. Just boom, 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 boom. And you walk in, you go, dude, this is a lot of activity. Would you guys got like a big like catering order going on? Like, I don't see any customers in here. So this must be a catering order. And we go, oh, no. We're doing all this work for a potential customer. We're hoping a customer walks in today and orders one of these sandwiches that we made. Is that how a sandwich shop is supposed to be ran, Herschel?
No.
Or should you wait for a customer to tell you what they want?
I think we should wait for a customer to.
Okay. So before you call a single homeowner and start making sandwiches, don't you think you should know who your customer is that's going to buy that sandwich?
Yes.
Okay. This is why so many people fail at wholesaling, because you are lying when you call a homeowner and say, I'm a cash buyer. No, you're not. You are not a cash buyer. You are lying. Hi, I'm a real estate investor. No, you're not. You are lying. And so you're going to feel really guilty as you call and you lie. But let's say you have Jamil or Jerry or Pace or your cousin, right? And they're your partner, because they're going to be your joint venture partner. And now you call these sellers and you go, me and my partner are cash buyers. Me and my, right? That makes you have confidence when you're making these calls, because now I know who I'm making my sandwich for. I'm not going to waste any of my time. And the most important thing I got when I was coming up in the game is people like Jamil. I would call Jamil and go, hey, I got these ingredients. I got this homeowner that's in foreclosure. Here's the address. Here's what's going on. Would you want to buy this deal from me if I went to the house and negotiated? And Jamil said, yes, I'll buy it at 210 sight unseen. I go, okay, cool. So I know I have to negotiate under $210,000 to make my spread. So I didn't have to learn how to comp. I didn't have to learn how to do any of those things. And I already had a buyer lined up. By far, that is the most important thing when you have never, ever, ever done a deal before. Now, here's where people get it twisted, Herschel. Jerry is a god on the phone. Jamil is a god on the phone. I am a mini god. I'm a demigod, okay, on the phone. I'm incredible at finding deals. So is Jerry and so is Jamil. So when you watch us on YouTube and you watch me negotiating RV parks or multifamily deals, you're like, oh, okay, so that's what I should be doing. I should be calling the seller and negotiating with the agent. I should be doing this. And most of the time, we've skipped the step of letting you know, hey, just so you know, Herschel, you're watching the YouTube channel right now. You missed the part where we locked up a buyer before we started calling on these people. You don't see that on the YouTube channel. And so do not dare call sellers or real estate agents unless you have a legitimate buyer in the town you are trying to wholesale. It'll give you confidence. Then they'll also comp for you and they'll do all the paperwork for you. They'll back you up and now you are legitimate. So the number one most important thing is ask your cousin, or is it your cousin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ask your cousin, hey, can I just find deals for you? What are you specifically looking for? Then go look for properties. Then make those calls, because now you are legitimized by saying me and my partner are looking for those houses. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Jamil and Jerry, he says, Luke H says, so you're brokering the deal.
No, you're not brokering the deal at all. I really want to make the distinction here. I'm really glad that you put this up. Luke, thank you for the comment. And let me clarify. Brokering is a completely different activity, right? That's when somebody is saying, okay, look, I'm a salesperson. My job is to connect a buyer and connect a seller. It doesn't matter who the buyers are, who the sellers are. I'm a salesperson doing this as a business in that fashion. What Pace is talking about is working in close proximity with your buyer. Really understand your buyer, really understand your JV partner, because essentially that's what that person is to you. And the instruments that we're using are a lot different than brokering instruments, right? When you're brokering a deal, you're using instruments like commission instructions. And if you're getting paid commissions, then you need to be licensed, okay? You need to be licensed. This isn't the activity that's happening here. what Herschel is doing is Herschel is creating a legitimate relationship with a cash investor, a cash buyer. She's getting to understand what type of projects this person looks for, what type of margins they're looking for, what type of area they tend to like to invest in. She's really doing a lot of reconnaissance and a lot of information gathering and really understanding the type of product and potential that this buyer is looking for. Then she is going out there and she is contracting that. So she's taking control of it. She's not connecting the dots. She's taking control. And by taking control of that opportunity and then selling control of that opportunity, she's not brokering, my friend. She is selling equitable interest. And I know it may sound a little bit confusing or like they're the same thing, but they truly are not the same thing.
The other thing too is, let's say that I work for my buyer, right? And I'm actually employed at my buyer's organization, and I'm calling on behalf of the organization I work for. Is that brokering? Right? Let's say that I work as I already know the answer is no, but let's say that I work at the Fix and Flipper. Mm-hmm. I work as an employee at his organization, right? Like Herschel goes to her cousin and says, hey, what's your cousin's name?
Jason.
Okay. So, hey, Jason, I want to come in and work as an employee underneath you, and I want to get paid a salary plus bonus. If she now calls and buys on behalf of that company, the house gets sold the exact same way, is she brokering that deal?
It depends on how the payments happen. So if the payments happen based off of the address, like, so for instance, if her bonuses are tied to that address, they could call that commission. They could call that brokering. Now, what she could do is have some incentives, or what Jason could do is give her incentives and say, hey, here's how we're going to do this. You're going to get paid $6,000 a month in salary or $5,000 a month in salary. And I want you to move 5 units for the month. On the 6th unit, I'm going to pay you a bonus of $10,000. And so that way her bonus isn't tied to specific properties. It's tied to the overall activity. The overall activity blends in with each other. It's no longer commission. It's no longer brokering. Now it's just salary and bonus.
Okay. So this is now let's cover this as well. Big M says, hi, Jerry. Hi, Jerry and Jamil, saying you're wasting your time calling a buyer if you don't have a deal already in place. They're just going to tell you to call back when you have a deal. That's incorrect. I've watched Jerry and Jamil call them up and say, hey, I'm brand new. Can I bring you deals? And the answer from those buyers is yes. Now, let's set this up differently, okay? If I call a buyer and my answer is this, or my call is this, hi, buyer. So I'm thinking about getting into wholesale. Like, what are your thoughts on me getting into wholesale? What do you think that buyer's going to say?
I got to go.
I call the same buyer. Hey, my name is Pace. I'm brand new to real estate. I saw you bought a deal a couple of weeks ago. I'm finding a lot of deals hitting my desk, and I'm wondering if I could bring some that you'd be interested in over to you. And if I can, I'd love to get a finder's fee. Would you be open to something like that? Do you think a buyer's ever going to say no to that?
Not if they're real.
No. That's what they do. The fix and flippers like me and Jerry and Jamil, even though we wholesale, we also buy deals from wholesalers. We are like, bring us all the deals. There's never a buyer I've ever ran into. Never once have I ever ran into a buyer that's like, no, do not call me until you have a deal. They won't make it long in any business, let alone this business. It's a relationship business. Like Jamil makes $1 million a year from one real estate agent who just continually sends him deals. So that does not happen at all, okay? Now, Herschel, before we kick your butt off of here, okay? You don't know Houston unless you know what August is. Do you know what August is?
Ooh-wee.
Okay.
Sugarland, baby.
Okay, Agas, look it up. A-G-A-S, okay? Look it up. You're Hispanic, right?
Yes.
Okay. Best Indian food. I'm not even a big Indian food guy, but I'm telling you, the best Indian food in the world is in Houston, Texas, in Sugarland.
Okay.
Also, the best New York deli I've ever been to is also in Houston. You guys have incredible food in Houston. It's an awesome market.
Cactus?
What's that?
What's the deli place called?
I'll pull it up. It's right by your really nice shopping center. What's the name of that really nice shopping center, like downtown Houston?
Is it called Katz's?
I don't know. I'll pull it up. So here's something here's another thing I want to teach you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm pulling
I see the growth. I see it. Like it's beautiful. Like there's just so much business money being made. It's crazy.
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in Houston, and there's a lot of money in wholesaling in the whole entire country. Guys, wholesale transactions, there's about 300,000 of them that happen every 90 days. Okay. Every 90 days, about 300,000 transactions in wholesale or some form of wholesale is happening every 90 days. It is everywhere around you. You just don't know. Okay. It's just kind of like August. Like you probably pass by August all the time and you don't know that that thing has 15,000 5-star reviews because it's not the thing that you're paying attention to. Right. Okay. So here's what I would suggest you do, because you have a day job, I imagine, correct? No?
I'm in college. I have a lot of free time.
Okay. You have a lot of free time. Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
Do you want to be successful fast, or do you want to be successful on your own and make more money? Do you want to make money now and have more of a sure thing, or do you want to make more money possibly later? If I were you, I'd say now.
Now, I guess. I don't know if it was a trick question. I don't know if it was a trick question.
It's not. There's a good answer for both. So here's what I would do. Okay. You could spend months and months and months and months watching YouTube content. It's just going to give you more analysis paralysis. It's going to give you so much crap that's just going to like prohibit you from taking action. The first thing I would do is I would go to meetup.com. Okay. Go to meetup.com and I would find local real estate meetups and I would go join somebody's team as fast as possible. I would then secondly go to creativenationtour.com. Can I show you creativenationtour.com?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And why would I say creativenationtour.com? Well, because, by the way, that downtown Houston deli is right down. Where's your guys' really nice shopping? Where's that?
Galleria.
The Galleria. That's it.
Okay. There's a couple of like hot spots. Galleria is like nice. Post Oak area. Oh, New York Deli. Like it's literally called
Kenny and Ziggy's.
Yes, that's it. It's Kenny and Ziggy's. It's insane.
Okay. I'll have to try that. I've never.
It is so good. It's in this corner little spot. Oh my gosh. It's better than New York. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, let's go to creativenationtour.com. And you see this brown guy right here that's in this van. And you see this light brown guy in this van.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
We are coming to, check it out. Let's see if we can find Houston, Texas on here.
It's down. I think I saw Texas in the middle.
There you go. We look at all the Texases we're doing. We're doing Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Lubbock. If you come to the meetup in Houston, Texas on, I know it's a long ways away, January 22nd, there will be, I'm not exaggerating, probably 1,000 wholesalers at this meetup in Houston. 1,000. Like, have you ever seen 1,000 people in one place at one time? Okay.
No.
I'm telling you. Okay. Go to Creative Nation Tour, RSVP. We will be coming to your town.
And I want to say for everybody watching this right now, come to those meetups. I still have people sending me DMs that are doing deals together from when you and I went to Venice Beach and 1,200 people stormed Venice Beach, and they made so many connections with each other, so many relationships with each other. They're continuing to thrive off of that. And so, folks, it's really important. I mean, imagine this, right? Monster is going to probably pace a check for $500,000. There's all kinds of businesses getting involved to sponsor this. So you can have a free meetup. Think about that, right? You all of this is being done on your benefit. All of this is being done on your behalf. Take advantage of it. Come to the, and the other piece is if there's cities that you're doing business in, if you're not living in the city that you do business in, get in a plane, go to the meetup in the city that you're doing business in, so that you can shake hands with people, so that you can go and make connections and create opportunities and build your network. It's the best money you will spend, hands down, guaranteed. It is the best money you'll spend in your business. I promise you.
Yes, agreed with that 100%. And by the way, the meetup costs no money, except we will be selling tacos and drinks and stuff at taco trucks. So we won't sell tickets to the event. We won't sell anything at the event. But we will be selling tacos. If you're hungry, we'll have taco trucks and all that kind of stuff outside. And Houston's got incredible. Oh my gosh. You imagine should we do the meetup at Aga's in Houston?
Oh, bro. Yes.
So chopped.
That GM still texts me like every few months, like, when are you guys coming back? I'll absolutely ask him, but you know what? He doesn't need us because he's already got a line out the door all the time.
Anything else we can do to help you out, Herschel?
Not at the moment. Not.
Keep watching Flipping Mastery. It's one of the few YouTube channels I still subscribe to. My wife watches him more than she watches my YouTube channel. So keep watching Jerry Norton.
In the shower, usually.
In the shower. I never got that.
Yes.
Nobody ever
when
tells
we're
me
on date night, my wife and I watch you in the shower on seller calls. Carson Walsh, do you have any questions for us today, bro?
Yeah, I do. How's everyone doing?
What's up,
Really
bro?
good.
Hey, Carson.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so my question is regarding scaling. I started wholesaling in the beginning of 2024, so I haven't been in it super long, but I scaled up pretty quick to, an amount of money that I didn't think was possible. But I'm just a one-man band. I do pretty much everything myself, referral based, so agents, other wholesalers, so the profit margins are really high. I'm curious if you guys think hiring is a good next step, or should I just, keep doing what's working?
I'll jump in on this one because I scaled a business that was based on this exact model. And so, yeah, you will need to bring somebody if you want to do more business, right? If you want to do more deals, you're going to need to broaden that base of your network. And so somebody's got to be on the phone doing more outreach. And that could be an acquisitions person. But know this, the first hire that you're going to make in your kind of business right now, they're going to have to wear a whole bunch of hats. They're going to need to help you with transaction coordinating. They're going to be helping you with acquisitions. They may be helping you with some dispo. Just remember that person has to be versatile, right? So bring somebody on that has the capacity to wear many hats. They're not just sitting there being, super one-tracked. Here's another hack. If you have somebody that says to you, hey, man, I just want to come, I just want to learn acquisitions, good chance that they're going to learn acquisitions from you and bolt.
What? That never happens.
You've seen it happen so many times, right? So what you really want is a team player, somebody who's willing to come and say, hey, man, if I'm needed to be on transaction paperwork, I'll do the paperwork. If I'm needed over here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever adds the most value to you and the organization. That is going to be a good hire for you. And I would say you only need one right now.
Yeah, I would add to that. So Carson, one thing that we've learned this past year is depending on your marketing channel will also dictate quite a bit when it's appropriate to scale. And so, for example, in my market in Tulsa, Oklahoma with Mark Gabriel, we've remained a one-man show. He pretty much is wearing all the hats, and we're at contract 60 something, almost 70. We'll do $1 million this year with no team, one guy. Now, the only way that's possible is we're only doing inbound marketing with PPC and some PPL. And the reason why is because there's virtually no follow-up with those channels. I mean, a little bit, but for the most part, you either get the deal or you don't. You close in a couple of weeks, and you're going to get the deal or not get the deal. And so other marketing channels are a lot of follow-up, and you need people. You need a lead manager. Acquisitions is following up for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. They're busy on all the follow-up, and so it takes more manpower to manage outbound marketing channels. And so people tend to bust at the seams really soon. And you're like, man, I just can't keep up with everything I need. And you start hiring VAs. And next thing you know, you got a team and you're building a team, and it's a lot of work. So that's the hack strategy. If you can transition into really good inbound marketing, then you can operate $1 million in revenue almost still on your own. And then when you're like, okay, now I want to go to 2 million. Okay, now I don't think you can do that anymore on your own. And maybe it's time for that first hire in a commission-based position. Either acquisitions and then you do dispo. It's what I recommend. You do one or the other, whichever one you like the most, do that one and hire out the other one. So hire on acquisition, you do dispo or the other way around. And then, wait till you're busting at the seams again and then be ready for the next growth phase.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And then when you get to that point where you're ready to hire, whether it's inbound or right away with referrals, what's the best way to structure that first employee? Is it just salary or salary plus commission, or what do you guys recommend?
I mean, Brent's got his team on $80,000 salaries, and then they get like 3 or 5% commission, which is an odd structure. Now, he's had those guys for a long time. They're really, really good. I don't recommend that because, you're paying a lot out of cash flow every week for those salaries. Most people start at a commission of like 10% commission. And then what we like to do is we like to bonus up to 15. So if they hit certain quotas during the month, we bump them up, and that keeps them on the phones, keeps them motivated. So there's some different structures there. You could do a base, you could do like a salary plus commission, straight commission, and I don't know, Jamil, what ideas have you guys seen work well with paying your guys?
We've seen nothing work but bonus plus base plus bonus. The reality is that you can't retain people if they can't pay their rent, right? And it's going to take time for folks to get the ball rolling, to get a pipeline built, to really get things moving. And it's hard. And you want to give, because sometimes you got really talented people who just have some pretty hard life circumstances, and they'll leave because they've got to figure something out. So I would say that salary plus bonus is probably going to be, base plus bonus is probably going to be the most ideal. I wouldn't make the base enough for them to coast, though. You want the base to be like, bro, if I'm only making this base, I'm eating ramen the entire month. Good, because I'll pay for you to eat ramen. I'm not going to pay for you to eat steak, right? So if you want steak, you earn steak. I'm okay to give you ramen, but you got to earn steak. And so you want to make sure that that you're giving them enough of a base to be able to survive, but they need to be incentivized to reach for more, right? And they want to reach for more. So the base has to be low enough to be able to accommodate that. If the base is too high, I've seen people coast, and then it just turns into a lot of lollygagging.
The other thing I would recommend, Carson, this is something I teach, is when you're ready for that hire, even your marketing budget, hustle and do the deals until you've got enough to cover that for an entire 12-month cycle. Okay. So let's say you want to bring somebody on at a $40,000 a year base plus commission. Don't try to afford the $40,000 out of next month's deals to pay that next month. That's going to be way too stressful. It may not work. You may have to let them go. Instead, go hustle right now. Get the $40,000 that'll cover their base. Set it aside. Now you have their salary covered for a year, and you can breathe now. Now go transact and do deals with that person. And same with your marketing. Like if I want to increase my marketing budget to $5,000 next year, I want $60,000 this year set aside so that when I start that, I've got the entire budget for the entire year. I don't have to worry about where it's coming from. I've already set it aside for the year. And now I can go to work. And if we make $1 million, we make $1 million. But like, I'm not trying to figure out how to fund everything each month, because that's where I see wholesalers die, is they just can't manage the cash monthly to run the business.
Can I confuse you even more?
Sure.
I think you should go be a GQ model because you look like Justin Bieber, bro.
Carson, I do have a question for you. I'd just like to give you your flowers right now. It's really congratulations on, getting to a place where you're starting to feel confident to hire somebody. How did it look for you? Where are you working? Let people know how they can connect with you. And how did you do for the year?
And by the way, before he answers, he is a college level athlete, baseball, right?
Yeah. I play baseball at Northeastern in Boston. Awesome. So I use Massachusetts and a little bit of New Hampshire as my main market.
Awesome.
I started off with kind of a little bit of everything, but really honed in on referrals. So I would reach out to just real estate agents and wholesalers. And it was pretty slow to begin with, but I feel like with referrals, the more people you're following up with, the more action you're getting. So I saw that slow growth and just kind of kept going with that and kept stacking up the amount of people I was following up with. I'm following up with probably about 3,000 people a month at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at with, like, you know,
what's your average deal volume per month?
I'm right now, I'd probably say a average month is 3 deals a month, and then a good month would be like 5 deals.
Well done, man. Well done.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Congratulations, brother. Keep it going.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, and then anybody can reach me at this, you know, YouTube channel. You can direct message me or on Instagram at Carson_Walsh27. Anywhere in New England, I'm always good to collab or just chat real estate.
Freaking love it, man. That's so freaking awesome. Congrats, Carson. We are 1 minute over time. Carson, give GQ a call, bro. Okay. I'm telling you, man, freaking Justin Bieber lookalike, but stronger and can probably hit a baseball a lot further too. Jerry, I love you. I appreciate you. Jamil, I love you. I appreciate you.
I'll be back.
Guys, we will be back next week. I don't think Brent Daniels is coming back for like 3-4 weeks. He's going to Italy with his bride. He's going to be enjoying all the fruits of his labor of doing all these wholesale deals and making all this awesome money he's been doing. We will be back next week on Monday, however, and we just want to let you guys know we appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Wholesale Hotline, 5 p.m., same place, same time. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.